What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to episode 5 of Connection Interruption podcast. Tonight's podcast is being brought to you by our lovely sponsors at Frisch's Brick Boy. Make sure you go out and check the menu. You can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also, go to frisch's.com and you can also check them out on DoorDash because it's so convenient, especially when you're gaming. You don't want to get up. You got the food delivered right to you, and it bring in my fellas, my brothers from another mother, Mark and Ryan. What's good, fellas?
What is up? What's happening?
Man, it's been a good day. I had to go get my drink immediately at the drive-thru.
Mark, we can't hear you, bro.
There we go.
Hey,
all right.
there we are.
That's
That's the beauty of a live show.
Anyway,
Small
all
interruption.
right. Yeah, it's good to be back for episode 5. Thank you to Game Day and Frisch's for allowing us to be here once again. So, should be a good one.
Tonight's a special show, so we have guests joining us tonight.
Yes, lots of
from
guests.
the newest school to join the Esports Collegiate Northern Kentucky University Esports. So, welcome to NKU.
NKU, and joining us tonight, we got Dr. Jim Buss, and we also have Hunter Cope. He is the captain of the NKU's Rocket League team. And we have Kylie Griffey, and she is the captain of the future Overwatch team. I didn't want to do their nicknames. I let them do that. Hunter is Brew, and Kylie is Kiwi. And Mr. Buss, we got to get your name. You got to get your name.
I do have one, but I don't let the students know.
Oh, what?
No, I think Hunter knows because I do know it in the chats. It's the way that I can pop in the chats during Twitch or in the streams, and
gotcha,
students don't know it's me, but they will now. So I go Hawkeye. So
Hawkeye.
Okay, cool. Hawkeye.
Hey, nice.
I like it.
Eliza's in the chat already. Norse up. Gingy, NKU. Blazing Phoenix. Thanks for joining us today, guys. This is awesome for us. We are super excited to have you on as our first group of guests. We had Gian Harris from King's Hammer Esports with us last week, and he dropped a bomb on us to tell us that he wasn't playing competitively anymore. Right in the middle of the show, we were all like,
What?
okay. So hopefully all the bombs that we hear today are all positive things that we hear from y'all. But I'm going to send it over to Mark, and Mark will get us going tonight.
Pretty much every show we start with, we kind of just discuss like what we're playing at the time. So we'll kind of do that to like kind of kick things off, get us warmed up here. So like, what are you guys playing right now? For me, I've just been playing mainly Rocket League. I kind of want to pick up Resident Evil. I just haven't yet, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Kylie, we're going to put you on the spot. You're going to be the first victim here. What are you playing other than Overwatch right now?
So I play a lot of the Switch and Xbox. So on the Switch, I've been playing, of course, Animal Crossing. And I've also been playing Hatsune Miku Project Diva F, which is really fun. It's like a rhythm game. And on the Xbox, I like playing Call of Duty Black Ops. That's really all I've been playing on the Xbox. I haven't been too much active besides on Overwatch.
All right, Tay, let's pop to you.
Yes. This week I've been strictly playing 2K in the show. So baseball and basketball has been my week this week. Really trying to get my points up so my players are at least halfway decent.
All right, Dr. Buss, you're next, sir.
So this is going to be embarrassing.
No, it won't be. I promise. Mine's going to be bad. So.
Oh, this will be worse. So I haven't had a whole lot of time. I've been trying to skill up a little bit on Rocket League just so that I could play it all against some of our players. But lately I haven't had a whole lot of time, so I've been playing Golden Tee mobile on my phone.
Cool.
Mobile golf.
Hey, that's nice though.
All right, yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, Hunter, what do you got?
So I mean, obviously, kind of grinding Rocket League, the usual. Outside of that, though, Golden Week sale on Steam happened last week. I think it was early this week as well. Picked up Digimon Cyber Sleuth is what I've currently been playing. And then I also put a little bit of time into Greedfall, which is kind of a fantasy RPG game.
I love that game. Yeah, I love that game. So this is why I don't think that Dr. Bus has to worry about what he's been playing. I have pretty much only been playing Pac-Man for the last like 2 weeks. So Pac-Man 99 came out on the Switch, and it's essentially free. So it's a battle royale Pac-Man game. So that has been like since our last show, that's been my go-to. I did play a little bit of MLB The Show, but Pac-Man is I played a little bit, not enough to make it. Yeah, you know me, I'll play for a little while and then kind of go from there.
It's all right. It's okay.
Blazing Phoenix says bus for gold team.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's see if that he has to be a full-time student though, right? Like
Exactly.
full-time faculty doesn't count.
That does not count. So I'm disqualified.
All right. Well, so we had a little bit of news with you guys hit us yesterday. And I touched on it briefly. And Ted, you want to head us into that little bit there?
Ooh, he just want to toss me up under the bus today.
No, it's there.
No, so hold on. Let me get my stuff together over here.
All good.
All right. My bad, because my contacts are kind of blurry. Sorry about that. So, we got this here. So I got, before we do that, can I ask what games got you guys into e-streaming? And we can start with Kylie, so she's all the way over at the bottom. This
is really probably like, I think a lot of people start with this game, but I started out with Minecraft when I was like really young, and really kind of just progressed from there, from computer to console, and then kind of back to computer over time. So I would say Minecraft and kind of small games like that online were the games I started with.
What was your first FPS?
Sorry, what?
Which game was like your first FPS? Like your first?
Yeah, your first person shooter.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
With the abbreviation. Oh, so actually, I think it was Call of Duty Black Ops. I think it was I was like definitely playing zombies when I was like just like starting in middle school. So
yeah, zombies was always my thing.
All right,
Mr. Hunter.
So again, kind of similar to Kylie, I started out with Minecraft. Then once I hit middle school, like 7th, 8th grade, I started doing competitive COD with game battles, doing GBs like every weekend with a team, up until Black Ops 3, I believe, which at that point, Rocket League had been out for, I don't know, about 6 months or so at that point, and I was starting to enjoy Rocket League a lot more. And then I started to play more competitively in that, and here I am today.
Cool.
And last but not least, Mr. Bus. Hey, we got to go with the classic game. So, what game got you into really playing video games?
I would say, I'm going to go old school. Go back to Wolfenstein. That's old school. But I really got into Call of Duty. Old school Call of Duty. Storming Normandy Beach and the early versions of it. But yeah, you got to go old school for me. Back when it was all on PC and kind of before the virtual world kind of movement. Although I got into Skyrim a little bit, Elder Scrolls in college, so that was kind of my progression.
Don't let Tay fool you. We're old too.
Yeah, we're old.
Okay. We talked about that.
The students are wondering what Wolfenstein is.
Yeah.
No, I know what it is.
Mark, do you know what Wolfenstein is?
I know what Wolfenstein is.
Okay.
Yeah, I never played like the super old ones, but like the new ones, and like the ones that were on 360, like all those I've played. But
yeah. On a previous episode, I mentioned that Super Tecmo Bowl was one of my favorite games of all time, and Mark had to look it up. So that's why I asked if he knew what the Wolfenstein was.
All right, so I know the school is getting to in the fall and going to the esports collegiates. So, Mr. Butts, could you give us a little rundown of how that's going and what teams are you looking? What schools are you looking forward to go against?
Yeah, we're really excited about this opportunity. For those of you that don't know, Esports Collegiate is essentially started as schools from the MAC or the Mid America Conference. If you think of sort of traditional sports, expanded to Northeastern University in Boston, and then we're the only second non-original member to join. And what's really exciting to me is that we're going to see a lot of regional rivalries. So these are schools, and Hunter may be able to talk a little bit about the various conferences that we were part of over the past year with Rocket League and playing, a lot of universities, a lot of schools that we weren't familiar with, that it's hard to get a viewership and really a fan base going when you don't recognize what the other schools are. But routinely now being able to play against the Miamis, the Akrons, Ball State, Bowling Green State University, those kinds of schools, I think we're really excited because I think it's going to help us form some regional rivalries that we can really draw a fan base to. So even beyond the competition and the players is getting students across our campus engaged, fans in the community engaged, hopefully have some big watch parties on campus, that kind of stuff. And so that's what excites me about it.
Gotcha. I know you guys have a nice arena over there. So
And speaking of which, with like the watch parties and stuff, I saw that on your guys' website, and I was ever wondering, you guys ever thought of or plan on hosting any like tournaments, maybe just for all your students in general, maybe not those like who are like super into esports and stuff, but like use that space to basically host a tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was in many ways our plan all along in launching our varsity esports programs, was to get excitement across campus, host some large events. We actually just renovated our ballroom on our campus in the student union, and we'll be able to hold LAN events there in the future and bring everywhere from high school students to students on our campus to community members to NKU to play in some competitive esports tournaments.
That's awesome. That sounds like it'll be a great time for any student that's involved or anybody in the community that's nearby there in Crestview Hills.
Yeah.
So in addition to like hosting local like tournaments and things like that, how involved is the varsity team going to be with like the esports clubs and things on campus? Like what's the goal there as far as trying to integrate some of those kids that have already been involved on that side of things?
So one of the things, and I'll let Hunter and Kylie talk a little about the student experience, but from our perspective, it goes beyond the varsity players. We have a whole production team who helps with our streaming, our content creation, those kinds of things. We're looking for more and more students to get involved in esports in general, to do live streaming, to host, sort of podcasts like this for our own campus. And so it's really kind of pulling the entire community that's related to esports on NKU's campus together, and using the varsity programs just as a way to highlight the seriousness that we're taking esports at NKU, which bringing it into the limelight for the university. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to really to showcase what's 400 or 500 students are already doing on our campus, and make that visible to the public. But Hunter and Kylie can talk a little bit. I know Hunter's been involved in the club and varsity, and Kylie has as well, so they might be able to respond to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was the captain of like the esports club Rocket League team for my first 2 years of college before the varsity team formed. So I kind of transitioned from that captain to being the varsity captain. But outside of that, I still help coach like the club teams, like help them try to improve, get better. I'll do like replay reviews. I'll be sometimes at the practices or be at their games. But even going beyond that, like we do community nights sometimes in the Rocket League scene. I know Overwatch does the same thing, which Kylie can talk about a little bit more. But really with Rocket League, we're just like a group of close friends that hang out, play games, help each other when we can, that sort of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, the Overwatch in the especially in the NKU Esports Discord there's been a lot of active members. I feel like lately we had a community night about a month ago, and we had a ton of people show up. It was a good turnout. A lot of people got on and play. We had some people from outside of NKU even come and join who joined the Discord, and they got a big game going of like I think they had a 12 in the for the PC, and it was like they were just doing matches back to back, and then there were some extra people that joined, and they were swapping out players and stuff. So it was really nice to see that the Overwatch community is growing here in NKU. Because when I first came to NKU, it was kind of like staggered. There wasn't a lot of players who were interested. And then now at the start of a varsity program, I think a lot of students have really been intrigued and I think are going to be back to support it. So that's exciting.
Gotcha. Now, I know we talked about this a little bit before we got on. I know education is always first down the bus to that. So how many hours do you actually put in practicing for tournaments or just practicing to get better with the team?
So I can talk about this first, I guess. It depends really, I guess, on the week per se. Usually what we did this year was we would have a practice Monday night for 2 hours, which would usually be 2 scrimmages. Tuesday night, we would have a scrimmage before our league match for NECC, which is one of the conferences we were in. Wednesday night would be a scheduling night for another league we were in called Indie Gaming League, where you would schedule matches with the other team, find a time that works for both teams to play. So that'd be like our available night to do that. Thursday night, we would scrimmage before Play VS, which is the huge like college league outside of CRL. There were 2 matches a night for that. Friday nights typically were our free night unless there's a tournament, except for the AVGL League, which ran for 7 or 8 weeks. And then Saturday and Sunday were mostly free days unless there was a tournament we wanted to do. So overall, like on a weekly basis, we were probably putting in close to 25 or 30 hours, bare minimum. And then obviously we played outside of that, so it could go up from there.
That is a part-time job.
I was trying to figure out. So you have to study at some point. So when you say Friday night's a free night, you're cramming, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Dr. Bus didn't hear that. We need to do one night a week.
Well, he likes my He knows what my GPA is. He's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
In addition to being involved with esports, so Dr. Bus, you're also is it head of the honors program as well?
Yes, I'm the dean of the new honors college at NKU, and I think part of having our esports program and our varsity program connected to the honors college is also to highlight the academic record of our students. I mean, I think our average GPA for our varsity program is about a 3.7 across our players. So we hold our students to a high academic standard, and they're out there competing and doing incredibly well, not just locally but nationally. And so I think it's part of our mission at NKU is not just to look at esports as an opportunity to play, but to create academic programming around that. So students might, come to NKU and think about wanting to become a streamer or shoutcaster, or you do behind the scenes production work, and we can help with that as well. And so the varsity program and NKU Esports is really about the entire ecosystem of esports as it relates to the university.
Now, question. So someone that's in high school or about to graduate and they wanted to become a professional esports, like do that as a major, is there a scholarship available for that, or do they have to pick major and then add esports onto that?
So that's a great question. We do have scholarships for esports, not just for players, but for production studio workers as well. We also hire interns. So there are opportunities for students. If you're in high school, you're interested in either playing or helping with the production of esports at NKU, reach out to us, esports@nku.edu. That's our email. Easy to reach out. I'll be answering those emails. We're looking for students to be involved in all those areas. We do have scholarship money for students to participate in esports, but they're students first. And so, we do have students who are interested in the production side who might go into electronic media broadcasting or sports management, those kinds of things. And so they'll major in those areas, but also be involved in esports in the varsity program.
Okay. Now I know when I was in school, I ain't gonna say how long ago that was, but when I was in school and you played sports, so is there a time frame that you could do like 4 years or whatever as far as esports like they do in regular sports? Is there an age gap?
So there's not necessarily an age cap. Depending on the conference that we're playing in, there may be, a 5-year a window in terms of playing competitively for a college for 4 or 5 years. But in order to play for NKU Esports in our varsity program, you have to be a full-time student at the university and keep your academics record while you're a student at NKU. Any current students who want to try out for one of our teams or want to contact us about being part of our varsity programs should have a 3.0 GPA, full-time student, and then they can try out or reach out to one of the captains about playing with one of the varsity programs.
Nice. I know I had a list of questions, so I was like, let me roll them out here.
Yeah.
So what other games are going to be added to the esports program?
Well, I'll kick it over to Kylie because so we have our Rocket League team. Hunter has been the captain of that, and we'll probably get to what they've been doing over the past year in terms of their record and their involvement and what they've been doing. But Kylie is the captain of our new Overwatch team and is currently recruiting players to be part of that varsity program. So that's kind of our first step.
Yeah, so we're just looking for any players who are really interested, and obviously grades come first and academics, and who really want to go and just have fun and represent NKU and just kind of the esports community as a whole, and show that NKU Esports has great potential. And I mean, it's just I really am happy and excited for this program because I know there's so many people at NKU who support it, and especially support the Overwatch community. So I think there's a lot that's to look forward to if you watch us this coming fall. So,
gotcha.
And I could probably add that, and this is your breaking news for tonight because neither of these players heard it. So here's your breaking news.
Please don't say I quit. Whatever happens, that can't be
for
it.
those that listen to the previous weeks, I will not be pursuing my professional career in Rocket League.
Come on.
But we will be the Esports Collegiate. There are 3 games that are part of the conference: Rocket League, Overwatch, and League of Legends. And so we'll be looking to form a League of Legends varsity team to compete in the Esports Collegiate Conference for next year.
Nice. Now, if somebody like me who sucks at shooting and playing soccer, like I play soccer, like yeah, I would need a lot of help. So I don't know if I will pass that audition, but yeah, there we go.
Now, when it comes to selecting those games, does like the rating of that game come into play, or is it just overall like popularity within like the school per se?
Are you asking in terms of the teams that we elevate to varsity?
Like the varsity teams, like for instance, like League of Legends and like stuff like that. Now, is that are those being added because of a large popularity within like the school body, and then like for instance with like esports games such as Call of Duty and CS:GO, have those been thought about being added, or are those rating of those games like too mature? I always wondered if that like affected decision making.
Yeah, there's a couple things that go into decision making. One is our conference. That's the big one. Is the competitive collegiate conferences that we're part of. What games do they host? And so the big news yesterday was that we'll be joining Esports Collegiate for the next year, and the 3 games that they sponsor are League of Legends, Overwatch, and Rocket League. And so that's one of the reasons that we're doing it. The other thing that we look for, because we're a college, we're a collegiate program, is looking to recruit students from high schools into our university. And so many of you know that in the state of Kentucky, in the Commonwealth, the Kentucky High School Athletic Association actually hosts esports as a competitive statewide event, and they have a statewide tournament. And so the platforms of the games that they play, Rocket League being one of the most popular, we're looking to connect to high school students, and so we'll also be looking to form teams that connect to the games that are played in high school. And so, those are part of our mission, is connecting to high schools and then connecting to the leagues, the collegiate leagues that we join.
Gotcha. I was also wondering, with the COVID-19 pandemic, has that like hindered or maybe even aided the program in any way? I mean, due to having to be socially distanced and stuff like that. I mean, we did see growth in esports in general throughout the last year. Did that like hurt the program anyway, slow it down, or anything like that?
Hunter, I think you should take this and tell the story of the varsity Rocket League team.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. So it actually did more than just aid us in terms of like the varsity program. It actually is what allowed us to form last semester. So we were originally planning on joining NACE, which is a conference we played in last semester. It was Tuesday nights. But one of their requirements was that you had to play in person in an arena at your accredited university. But obviously, due to the pandemic, that requirement was lifted, and we were able to actually form the varsity team and play in that conference, which turned out to be like amazing for us. When we were originally given our group, there were 9 other teams, I believe. So there was 10 teams in the group, or maybe 11. I think there was 11. And we went 30-0, so 3 games versus like every other university. We didn't drop a single game to any other university in the regular season. And then we moved on to playoffs, which I believe we actually swept the first 2 series, which got us to quarterfinals. Then we won quarterfinals 3-1, I believe. And then we ended up losing in semis against Kansas, but that gave us a spot to the CRL wildcard tournament that they hosted last semester, which basically puts us in contention for, I don't know, around the top 20 national teams in terms of Rocket League. And I mean, we were able to hold our own against some of the best teams out there that last semester, and that was, us forming and playing for only like 2 months or so. So it's crazy to think about what we can do now and what we can do going forward in the future.
Wow, gotcha.
Yeah, I always joke, just to sort of piggyback on that, is that we didn't finish the arena, the sandbox, what we call where we play our varsity teams play, until this semester. In fact, it was February. Hunter, was that right? When you?
Yeah, we got in there like first week of February to start actually there
and there was this moment in February when all 5 members of our varsity Rocket League team were in the arena. And I didn't realize until that moment that they'd never met one another in person. So we were able to form a varsity program because due to COVID, enter into a major competition, compete on the world stage in CRL, and our 5 team members had never met in person until this past February. So I for us, COVID was it's a blessing and a curse, but it enabled us to actually form our varsity program.
Yeah, and that's really impressive because of how much like team chemistry honestly like really matters. And like, those who compete in anything, any kind of like, team-based activity, if you build that chemistry, it only like, help you even more. So it'd be really interesting to see what you guys are able to do from here.
And speaking of the sandbox, not the bus. Lord, I know. I know Ryan. We got to get out. We just love getting out. So hopefully one day we get over.
I'll triple mask up if that's what it means for me to get 5 minutes in the sandbox. I don't care. I'm fully vaccinated, but I will wear whatever I have to wear to get in there. Yeah,
so is it open to the public yet, or no? Is this?
Yeah, so it's not quite open to the public yet. The varsity team Hunters played in there. Kylie, hopefully in the next week or so, we'll get in there and start setting stuff up for Overwatch. So it's open to our competitive teams to practice and play at the moment. But due to COVID and some of the restrictions we have, we don't have it fully open to the public. We're also moving one of our production studios into the sandbox. So we'll be doing a little bit more construction over the summer. I know the Hunter and
a new East.
there we go.
Here we go. Trying to get a video. Sorry, didn't want it to overlap you, but I want to show people what we're talking about here.
No, please do. I mean, we're excited. So we'll even be doing some more improvements over the summer to what you see there. And there's Kylie doing some of our TV reporting. So.
Sorry, Kylie. Didn't mean to
cut you off.
But yeah, since we don't have the rights to that video, I just wanted to show kind of a picture so you can see, those of you that haven't seen it. So you can check that out. It was Channel 9 that did that broadcast. So you can find that on their YouTube page.
Yeah, but we should be open in the fall. The intent right now is to open it up to students, or part of the arena for students to play between 9 and 5 during the day, and then in the evenings it be held for varsity practice and competition. But Hunter's played in there, and Kylie's been in there, so they may want to talk a little bit more about, particularly Hunter, like what it means to now go from playing in your basement or at home on your own equipment to what we have in the sandbox.
It's a crazy improvement, honestly. So up until like November of last semester, I was playing on a pretty old gaming computer, and Rocket League was starting to struggle to run. So I rebuilt a new PC. But even then, it's nothing in comparison to the computers we have in the arena. The hardware in them is basically brand new, up to date, best you can get. Monitors are 240 hertz. Meanwhile, I'm here at home with 60 hertz monitors. It's a struggle bus, but we get by. So that's another big advantage. Honestly, it's such a crazy difference playing Rocket League at 240 hertz in comparison to 60 hertz. It's an incredible advantage you get just seeing so much more.
People really don't understand how much of a difference. Even 60, I went from 60 to 120 to 120 to 240. Mm-hmm. People don't understand the difference until they sit down and just move the mouse, even just the slightest bit. How good is the internet in there? That's what I'm curious about.
It is very good. I forget. I don't remember if I actually did a network test on it or not, but I was able to download Rocket League, which is, around 15 gigabytes in a matter of 4 minutes. So
Nice.
Take that for what you will. It is quite fast.
All right, so question. For someone that's a rookie to both Rocket League and Overwatch, what would be a tip that you would give someone looking to compete in these games? We'll start with Kylie.
Kylie, we'll start with you there.
Did you just ask software-wise? Is that what you asked? Sorry.
Not what tips would you give someone that just now getting into Overwatch that wanted to compete? What should they practice? What should they look out for?
So when I was starting out, I highly recommend going into quick play. And when I first started Overwatch, it's changed so much. So now when you first started Overwatch, you could play any character, and you basically had to battle it out for characters. So you had DPS, tank, and heals. And so basically you got to pick a menu. So you could have a whole team of healing or a whole team of DPS or tank. But now they have it laid out where you're either you have to roll a queue for it. So I would recommend that maybe if you kind of want to play a certain thing, you don't have to battle, or if you battle for a character, do the roll queue and start in quick play. You can't play competitive tier level 25. They also have mini games. Mini games are really fun, and it's a great way to do mystery heroes, to find characters that you might be suitable for that you don't know where to start. So I would offer suggest doing quick play, mystery heroes, and getting with a group of friends, because getting with a group of friends is a great way to get on and get comfortable with the game and talk about hey, how do I do this, or can you help me do this? Since it is a wide variety of characters on Overwatch now.
Yeah, I like to play against the computer because my friends suck. So
I think he's talking about me.
No, I wasn't talking about you.
I'm pretty sure that was directly at me when it comes to Overwatch.
No sneak dissing. So
No. So Hunter, where are you at with like what do you think is the best thing to get started? As Tay is talking about, where's a good place for Rocket League?
So the best place, I guess, as a brand new player, Rocket League does offer a wide variety of like tutorials that you can do. So you'll have striker, goalie, and aerial trainings, all on like beginner, pro, and expert levels, or somewhere around those 3 levels that you can do. That's like a good starting place to warm up, or like learn the game. Learn how to shoot, save, go up in the air for an aerial. Free play is where you'll be spending a lot of time. It's basically you're on an empty field with the ball, just you. There's no bots. There's no other people. It's you and the ball. You do what you can. Basically, you try to learn stuff. But the really cool thing about Rocket League is that there are custom training packs that you can do and that people upload, which basically they follow the same mindset of striker, goalie, and aerial training. But they're a lot more challenging, and it's a better way to challenge yourself and learn the game. I know varsity members will sit in custom training, doing the custom training packs for probably like an hour a day, if I were to guess.
Wow. In addition to getting good grades. We'll just say that again, like that GPA,
Right,
the GPA requirement. Well, Dr. Bus isn't going to let us get out of here today without reiterating the fact that there is a GPA requirement to be part of the varsity team at NKU, just as if it was any other varsity sport. So it's a great thing that you guys have going, and the sandbox looks amazing. Cannot wait to get in there and
Cross the fingers.
Well, yeah, eventually we'll get invited, right? Like
we will definitely invite you. We'll get you in there into our studio.
Awesome.
We'll invite you to our shows.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really, really cool. Is that legit? Legit, a Covey says, "Holy crap, Hunter!"
Hunter has a fan club.
So here's a really good question, and I was actually going to ask this question, but it's already in the chat. Game Day, someone at Game Day has popped in a question for Kylie. Do you think the industry is changing for women? That's a great question because we talk a lot about inclusion. We've talked about it on our show, even like representation and inclusion is very, very important in the esports world, in my mind, and I know in a lot of other people as well. But that is a great question. So Kylie, how about you handle that one?
Yeah, that is a really good question. I do feel like it is changing. I feel like I've seen, especially since I've actually joined the Overwatch community, I feel like I've seen a lot more female players, especially at the higher ranks at like Diamond and stuff. So that's been a great way. And I've also seen a lot more representation from kind of teams who go around, and they may not be with in like a collegiate level, but teams who are like female players who have a lot of support. And Overwatch does a great job of representing female characters as well as those from LGBTQ communities. So I think that's really great, and that there is a lot of good change for the community and industry.
Very cool. Yeah, we've talked a bit about that on some other podcasts, even in our first 4 episodes, about representation. Dr. Bus, can you add on to that?
Yeah. So one of the things that I would add is, and Hunter and Kylie know this, and anybody who's associated with our varsity program, diversity and inclusion is one of the core pillars of the varsity program, and that is we want to be good stewards of esports at the university, and represent the broad diversity that is our student population and our community population around NKU. And so you'll hear us, academic standards we hold very high. Diversity and inclusion is a core tenet of our program. And so, we're constantly and consistently seeking out players from all different backgrounds, and also production staff, people who want to be in front of the camera, who want to stream, who want to shoutcast, who want to be part of the esports ecosystem at NKU. And I can't stress that enough. And I know Kylie and Hunter hear me every conversation talk about diversity and inclusion and how we represent the university and our community at NKU.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
And I think I've seen both of them shaking their heads.
Yeah. So I tried to back out enough so everybody could see them going. Yeah. No, that's great. It's important. We talk a lot about it within our chat and even during other podcasts where we talk about, inclusion and not being disrespectful to people because they're different. And that's something in gaming that we've seen more and more, like people trying to push that inclusivity piece. And it's very, very important for us to continue to beat that drum.
Yeah. And I will say that I want NKU Esports to be viewed as a national leader in this area. I don't want us to simply say that we're doing it. I want people to see that we're doing it and that we're a national leader in this area.
Very cool. Very cool. So with joining the new conference, you have some pretty stiff competition out there.
Yeah.
Kylie, I know we were talking prior to the broadcast. You want to talk about Miami University's program there for a bit? You don't have to praise them if you don't want to. If you want to talk smack, girl, you go at it. You call them out, but they're very, very good. So I know you've checked them out, and you want to chat a little bit about how they play and what you guys can kind of try to do to neutralize them in the future here.
Yeah. I won't give any slander since we haven't had our season start yet, but
smack talk is okay on this show. We're all for it as long as it's clean and we're not calling out anybody's mama.
So I was going through some of Miami University's Overwatch playthroughs, and I was really impressed by the Mercy because I am a Mercy main for healing. So, I mostly pay attention to characters a lot of the time who I play just to see the differences in skill level. Their Mercy is she's very competitive. And I also thought it was interesting how other players, like other teams they play in that conference, also mimic a lot of the same styles of play. So that was really interesting to see. And I think that following those patterns and watching other teams, we can develop our own pattern and our own unique skill set to compete with those teams and to make a difference in our skill and abilities. So I'm looking forward to that and working together with a team who is also as competitive as I am.
Cool. So what challenges do you see facing with having a brand new team on the varsity side going into a league that's already established? Since you guys are just one of the second teams to add in from the original core group, what challenge do you see facing, especially in Overwatch?
I think our biggest challenge will be getting the practices in, and because these teams have been playing together longer than we have, so I think that will be a challenge that I think we can easily overcome with some time. I also think it'll be challenging to be the new one in the conference. I think a lot of people will be interested in us, and I think a lot of people will watch us. So I think a lot of people will pick up on how we play by doing that. And I think also one of the things that puts a challenge for us is that we haven't played these teams like they have played each other for for the past few seasons. So, but I think we can do it. I think we can quickly develop and become a good team for the conference that will be competitive.
Very cool. So when you talk about being competitive, and Dr. Buss, you can kind of chime in here as well. What are the expectations for the program as far as the competition goes? I mean, when you're new going into something, you're looking at, if you look at any of these games, there's a high level of competition. I mean, you've got Miami that's really, really good at Overwatch. Akron is very, very good at Rocket League. And then League of Legends, you guys are bringing in a brand new League of Legends team as well here in the future. So where do you see yourself fitting within the conference fold?
So I do think we'll be competitive. I think Hunter's done a great job of captaining an incredible, Rocket League team. One of the things that we have on our side is youth. So Kylie just finished her first year at NKU. 4 of the 5 players on our varsity Rocket League team just finished their first year. So we have several years left of building chemistry. Hunter is the senior statesman, and he's not a senior, or maybe he's going to be now. Technically, he is now, but another season that he'll be working with us. And so my expectations are that we will be competitive in these games, but at the same time, it's a long. What I'm looking for is the longer view of building a program that's sustainable and will be competitive long term. And so, this is our first year. I one of the things I've joked, and I've told Kylie this, I don't expect our Overwatch team or League of Legends team to come out of the gate like the Rocket League team did in the NACE, Fall Cup last year, where they go 36-0 and, go into the tournament and finish third and end up in the CRL, wild card in tournament at the end with the top 20 teams in the country. That was wonderful that's what we did. It far exceeded our expectations, but for better or worse, Hunter, you set some pretty high bar for everyone else to try to reach. And I think what we're really looking for is establishing a long-term program that can be year after year competitive. And so that's what I would see is are we laying the foundation for that kind of competitive varsity program overall with all of our teams.
Very nice. Now, Hunter, have you played in the King's Hammer tournaments at all?
Yes, we have. We've done, I think, maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I've played in one, and I've watched them. It blows my mind. I mean, everyone who plays in those are insane. So I don't know if we played each other, but if we did, it makes sense on why you guys managed to pull that off.
Yeah, a lot of the teams in that event are really, really good. So.
No question. I know, like a lot of sports teams, they watch tape and watch their opponents. How many hours do you guys put in, like really watching other teams move or the best players move? So when you play them, you could just knock them out the box.
So we don't really necessarily watch replay of other teams per se, at least in the college scene, unless it's like CRL teams, because we watch the CRL stream on the big Rocket League channel on Twitch. But in terms of like smaller colleges that aren't CRL bubble teams, we don't necessarily watch them or like watch replays of them. It's more of have any of us individually played against like any of their members, whether that be in 6-mans or in tournaments or just like even in ranked. And what we can remember about their play style. That'd be the most that we do in terms of like quote unquote scouting the other team per se. But I mean, we definitely do our own fair share, like replay review, going over our own games, figuring out what mistakes we're making, how to improve. And then occasionally we'll watch pros play as well. During RLCS, we'll spend, I don't know, a couple hours together watching pros play, just seeing what they're doing, how we can maybe try to implement whatever they're doing into our own game and so forth.
Cool. Dr. Bus, question.
Hold on real fast, Tay.
Okay.
We've got a challenge already. We have a challenge in the chat. So, Hunter, you're being challenged in the chat. I figure I'd throw it out there. They want to scrim.
Yo, DM me on Discord.
Yeah, all right. There you go. See, look, we're setting it up.
Well, that's what I was kind of curious about is, do you find, so like you said, these smaller colleges, you probably scrim those teams, correct?
Correct. I mean, we scrim like a variety of teams. I mean, we don't necessarily scrim like the top CRL teams all the time. But we've actually scrimmed a couple of teams from this esports collegiate. We scrimmed Toledo. We've played Miami. I believe we played Ball State. We've scrimmed WMU. We've played Kent State. So, I mean, we've played almost half the teams in this conference already prior to this. But outside of this, yeah, I mean, we try to stick to CRL bubble teams if possible, just to try to keep, consistent high-level scrims going.
So what he's saying, Mark, is he's not going to scrim UI and CAS.
I know.
That's not going to...
I'm curious too. So now these tournaments that you played in the past, were those LAN or were those like online?
They were all online.
Okay. Have you played in LAN?
Me personally, I've never played in a LAN. It's the one thing I want to do before I graduate next year.
Right.
I think both of my 2 teammates, Eric and Liam, have both played in a LAN before, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. I personally have never played in a LAN, and I really want to know as well. I'm always curious because, I mean, you're mentioning Toledo, and you've played, you lost against Kansas, I believe you said.
Yep.
And I was just really curious on what the ping is like because that can totally change, how a video game goes down and can be really frustrating. So LAN events always kind of make that playing field a little bit more level. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is such a nice thing about the sandbox. We don't really have to worry about ping so much since we have, I think it's like gigabit Ethernet. So if it's an East server, we're basically guaranteed around, I don't know, like 28 ping, if not lower. Unless it's like a really weird server. In terms of West servers, again, it depends on West servers. West servers are kind of bad. No offense, Psionics. But we'll average around 70, 76, I would say. So even in against West teams, like as far as Cali, we're doing fine on ping if we're playing in the arena.
Gotcha.
So as we're talking about playing other teams in different areas and in the ping and all that stuff, Dr. Buss, you had mentioned earlier when we were talking about possibly hosting an event. Is there anything within the conference that says you can't like have an invitational or something like that from teams outside the conference? Once kind of COVID gets a little bit more under control, and there's those safety protocols and everything in place, obviously, like hosting a live event in the sandbox or something like that, where, you give your shoutcasters an opportunity to cast and you've got all that great stuff going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And so our commitment to Esports Collegiate is that our conference play comes first. And so, we're not competing against them. I already know that there's some talk about LAN events even within the conference happening over the next year. And so Hunter, you'll most likely get your wish fulfilled to do that. Kylie, look forward to that as well. We'll be traveling hopefully. But there's nothing that says that we can't host an invitational on our campus either with other colleges. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm also looking forward to getting high school students on our campus into the sandbox to meet with our students. I know some of our varsity players have already been out in high schools helping coach or providing some advice. We've helped a couple local high schools actually develop their varsity esports programs. And so a lot of this too is about community outreach and visibility. And I'm hoping that we can continue to do that moving forward. And I don't think the conference will get in our way of doing that, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't expect it would be a problem, but I thought there may be something that says like, hey, we can or can't, or there's like a limit. So it was just a question that popped into my head while we were sitting here talking about it. Because Hunter definitely, you can tell he's passionate about trying to play in person. Like the look on his face when you said you might get your wish was great. I wish I could have cut away to that just at that time. But.
Maybe we can get the three of you to come play on a celebrity team.
Oh, celebrities. Yeah, celebrities. No, we would love to get an opportunity to come in and spend some time in the sandbox for sure. I've shoutcasted a couple of the King's Hammer events as well. So I know I called one of Hunter's games at one point. So it'd be a lot of fun to get everybody together and celebrate games. I mean, that's the cool part about this to me is you're not just looking at one game. I mean, you guys have just very quickly grown from Rocket League to Overwatch. And now tonight the big news, if you missed it at the earlier part of the show, NKU is adding League of Legends. So with Esports Collegiate, that's the third game that's part of that conference. So League of Legends is a big piece of that. And there's some really good teams there too. Northeastern, Miami, if I remember, University of Buffalo has really, really good League of Legends. So that's a big piece. So you're expanding pretty quickly. And that's a big deal for the university and getting more students excited. And hopefully, in addition to the students that are already involved in the varsity program, getting those kids that are, and I say kids, but young adults, I guess. But to me, they're all kids because I'm the old guy. But seeing young people like be passionate about something, and especially in video games, is something that to me is awesome. So I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing over at NKU, and I'm excited to see where your program goes moving forward.
I have one. I got one question real quick.
Go ahead.
Shout out to our sponsor, Frisch's, but I know gaming can get real intense. So, what is your favorite go-to snack while gaming? And Dr. Bus, is there any restrictions on eating in the sandbox?
Hey, so let's stop right here before he answers that question. Tay has to have food involved in gaming.
Yes, food and drinks. Thank you.
So Hunter may be able to speak to this. They already know we're working on getting a refrigerator in the sandbox actually for some food. I've already been supplying the varsity team with goldfish and chocolate milk. I'm not sure what else they require, but I'd reach out to Hunter and Kylie to see what else that we need to provide for them.
Goldfish and chocolate milk sounds good. I think you pretty much got that set.
Number one requirement is chocolate milk. That's the number one requirement.
Well, it's good for recovery too. It's not just because it's tasty. Like it's great for your muscle recovery. I'll throw it out there. Jules says that Rule likes his chocolate milk. There you go.
I do.
Yeah.
So Kylie, what is your snack of choice?
I really like strawberries, and I always have them around, so that's a pretty easy one for me. I usually get them out, and I just snack on them while I'm playing. I know it's like a really random thing.
Everybody has something.
I don't know, chocolate fishy crackers don't really like. I don't know. That sounds gross to me.
Dr. Bus is taking notes. Like, all right, chocolate milk, goldfish, and now strawberries. All right, I got that. Those are my three.
I've also learned not to get the cheap chocolate milk, so I stock the fridge. I've already heard from Hunter about that. So
hey! I did finish it. I think there's actually like one thing left, but the rest of the team didn't agree with it.
Hunter, you're getting called out in chat as well for stopping Q to go get chocolate milk.
Oh, this
Blazing
is
Phoenix
true.
98. The amount of times he has stopped Q to go get some.
Dude, it is a necessity.
I get it. Mine is root beer. So like that's my weird thing, and I still to this day don't know why. But when I game, I want some root beer or some Mountain Dew, and it's like caffeine free, or do I need caffeine? That's the two go-tos for me. So I get it.
No,
I'm a big. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sway.
Well, I was changing subjects, so go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, do they have a separate controller or keyboard for practice and when they're in the tournament?
Because of my comment about having to have two separate controllers when you game, one for food and one for without. That was on a previous show. It was a conversation like if you're gaming and you're snacking, are you playing with a certain controller or do you switch it up? But you guys are all PC, right?
I play Xbox, and then I'm switching to PC. So,
okay. So are you gonna go to keyboard and mouse when you move to PC on Overwatch, or are you gonna try to stay with the controller?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna play around with it because I have very specific settings for certain characters and stuff, sensitivity wise. So I think I'm gonna try it out on PC and see. I think I'll like it. So, and I think it also gives me an advantage with playing with a controller with certain characters, like playing with a controller with Ana or Widowmaker is just not ideal as it would be with a mouse. So,
all right,
just do a lot of aim training. Because I was always an Xbox person, and once I finally got a PC and started playing like Counter-Strike and stuff like that, I wasn't very good. And you can just aim training all day long, and eventually it just becomes muscle memory.
Yeah.
My question, I'm kind of like a logo guy. I don't know why. I always find it interesting. So I was curious what like thoughts and ideas and stuff like that went behind your guys' team logo.
So I guess I can jump in here. I think Hunter may have been in the conversation early on or seen some of the prototypes. Yeah. So the logo, so the NKU is the Norse. And so we were looking for some sort of affiliation. And so the twin wolves that you see in our logo are actually Geri and Freke, who are the twin wolves that accompany Odin in Norse mythology. And so we actually it connects to Norse mythology, the NKU Norse. We were looking for something a little mean and aggressive, perhaps. One is a female, one is a male dog. So we were looking, diversity and inclusion as part of our core values, and so we wanted those represented in our logo. And so we need to tell that story a little bit more about where this logo came from. But we had about 5 or 6 different designs, and Hunter can talk to you. I know I threw it to the team to kind of vote and let us know which one that they liked the most. And I'm not sure why, Hunter. I know that I think you were in those conversations. Why this one stood out over the others?
So this one, originally amongst the prototypes, this is the one that stood out the most. It looked the most polished in terms of overall design and in terms of like usability, whether that be for like promotional material, merchandise, etc. Some other ones had some like really weird fonts that just like wouldn't work. The general shape of the logo didn't really flow or didn't look as clean as this one. The only other one that I think that came close to getting chosen was one of a dragon, if I'm not mistaken. But I think this one obviously goes a little bit better since, it relates back to Norse mythology and it, goes over the diversity and inclusion. So overall, I think this was the right choice for us to make.
Very nice. Yeah, I really like it. My mythology is not that great, so I wasn't really sure what the wolves were connected to, but I knew that, it had to be connected back to the, NKU Norse and stuff like that. I just didn't know how, but I really like that story, and I really like how you guys came about getting that.
I just tell people go watch the Thor movies. You'll see the wolves in the Thor movies around Odin.
Right. There you go. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it definitely stands out amongst some of the others, especially in the conference. But very, very cool logo. Yeah, I was digging it. We threw out a wallpaper Wednesday today, which we don't normally do, but I was like, let me see if I can find a Norse Viking ship, with some Norse ship, and throw it out there and see what's up. And we'll put the logo on it. But yeah, it was very, very cool. So as we get ready to wrap up, anybody in the chat that has any questions that they'd like to throw out to our guests, we'll throw them on the spot. I'm sure they would love to answer any questions that you all may have. So be sure to throw some questions in the chat if you have anything else that you'd like to talk to them about. But as we head towards wrapping up, Dr. Buss, I just want to thank you again for hopping on, and Hunter and Kylie, we really do appreciate you guys taking the time. I know finals just wrapped up and graduation was last weekend. And it's a time where you guys can actually kind of take a break. So appreciate you taking the time to be on with us tonight. It was awesome. And we do have a question, Blazing Phoenix 98, and we actually kind of know the answer to this question already that we talked about a little bit beforehand. But esports merch, when? Yeah, when? That's important because we've already. I need my fat boy size hoodie. I need that. I'm ready. Give me that 3X NKU Esports hoodie. I'm in.
So we were just joking, sort of pre-show, that I have a meeting tomorrow morning to go through some final designs. We're also looking for some students who, if you're interested, email me and let me know. We're looking for some students to give us feedback on some of the designs. So I've seen all the concepts. They should be out shortly. Hopefully within the next month, we'll have esports merch out there and available for students, community members, whoever wants to come support NKU Esports.
Well, I've been collecting masks since we're in the whole COVID thing. So if you got a mask with a wolf on each side and the NKU in the middle, you got me. Awesome. I'll definitely be able to pick that up. I'll wear it in the sandbox.
Right? Multiples in the sandbox for when we come in.
Do you guys plan on jerseys being just for players, or you guys plan on selling jerseys as well? You may not know the answer, but
yeah, we're hoping to. Hunter knows this because and Kylie does as well. We kind of been sharing jerseys as of late. We had, COVID has created some issues with supply, chain, with the supply chain, and so we've been having some issues with our producer who's based out of California, and so we're currently looking for someone to help produce our jersey that can make it available to the public, so that anyone can buy an NKU Esports jersey.
I think
cool.
I think I might be going back to school.
You didn't even have to tell Tay that he had to be on the team to get a jersey, and he's ready to come in. Imagine all the recruits that are going to want to come in once they see the sandbox in real life. Like Tay's like, I'm going back to school. It's going to be like Rodney Dangerfield and.
Right, I gotta get that little experience. I gotta get my experience in the esports arena.
I'm just disappointed Rule doesn't have his varsity jersey on right now, but I do know why.
Oh,
Call him out. Call him out.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
We may have had some issues with sizing as well, so it may look like a bodysuit.
Is it a medium?
It's
a medium.
You just get some safety pins and like pin it to your shirt.
Right. Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, Hunter, the merch that we have for the podcast isn't available in my size. So we were like, wait, what? They don't have one. They're like, you'll be able to fit into it. And I was like, oh no. No, I will. No, I will not. So I've been there, my friend. I've been there. So I feel your pain.
Yep. I've been stealing Dean Buss's jersey for like every promotional event.
Yeah. So again, I really appreciate you guys coming onto the show. And Blazin said, dude, that's a mood with the big sizes. Yeah, I mean, we're really looking forward to seeing where your program goes from here. Like we're really happy that you guys were willing to come on the show, share that big news with us. We will clip that little announcement. We will get that out there, and we will blow up your Twitter even more than we have in the last 2 days. Pre-show, we were talking about it with Dr. Buss, and he was like, our Twitter's been going crazy for the last 2 days. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. But we love having a local program that's so active and looking to get out there and get kids from the community. So,
Yes.
Yeah, this is a big deal for those of us that are Cincinnati born and raised, and close by over to Highland Heights. So thanks again for coming on the show tonight. And we hope to see you guys competitively. We will be retweeting whenever you guys are live and you're playing. We will make sure that we're getting it out there as well. Maybe we'll do some watch alongs and we can see Kylie and Hunter at their craft. It would be awesome.
And if you so happen to see us on campus, pay it no mind. We're just
once they start allowing people to go to soccer matches again, I'll be on campus. So I mean that this year was rough. There were no public, availability for tickets or anything like that. So this was the first year in the last 3 years that I haven't attended a match during the season at NKU. So, but I look forward to time in the sandbox with you guys, and anybody is looking for you guys on social media. If you want to share where they can reach out to you, Dr. Buss, and then Hunter and Kylie. I know I put you on the spot here. You don't have to necessarily share your socials, but if you'd like to, you can. But we'll start with Dr. Buss.
Yeah, so check us out on Twitter at NKU Esports. Our website is nku.edu/esports, and our email is esports@nku.edu. I assume that if you can type in NKU Esports and edu in any combination, it'll end up you'll find us somehow.
I guess we roll it over to Hunter.
Well, I went to Kylie because Kylie put hers in the chat here. So it's Kylie on Instagram, right? But there's lots of difference. So what we'll do is we'll put it out in the show notes so we can put their Instagram and Twitter out in the show notes because for spelling reasons it may not be the easiest to put out there. But we'll definitely get that out there. We appreciate everybody. Take a look at the show notes. We'll get those her Instagram and Twitter out there as well. And Hunter, he has his Twitter, and we'll be sure to share that on our end. If you are following us at INTPOD Connection Interruption Pod, Swing's throwing them up. You'll see it on the screen as well. But follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, and we'll be popping out some information with their socials and things. If you're interested in joining the Overwatch team and you're currently a student at NKU, Kylie is looking for team members.
Yes.
She's forming that team, so make sure you reach out to her. If you're not a current student at NKU, but you're considering going there in the fall, this would be a good time to reach out as well.
We are recruiting for NKU. Yes.
we appreciate it. We very much appreciate it.
Please don't be shy to contact me on any form of social media or anything. And I would love to get in contact with you and see what we can do.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us, everybody. And we will see you all next time here on the Connection Interruption podcast. Again, I'm Ryan Sparks, a.k.a. Touched Artist.
I am Tay, a.k.a. DJ Tay Boogie.
I'm Mark, Swing Live.
And we will catch you all next time.
Peace.
Thank you.